Hi everyone, Jeremy here with The Fastest Men Alive. You're about to see part 4 of our interview with Joe Cross from Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. We thank you all for watching. Again, we were honored to have this privilege to be able to sit down and talk with him. Make sure you check out the rest of the interviews too so you can see the entire thing. Hope you enjoy. I want to talk to you mostly about the film.
Sure.
So, did you have any prior experience in filmmaking prior to this?
None whatsoever. Never been in front of a camera. Never even thought about making a movie. A very good friend of mine is a guy called Baz Luhrmann, who has directed a bunch of movies. So that was about my closest experience was knowing Baz.
Awesome. How was the film funded? Did you self-fund it, or did you raise funds to get the movie made?
So in the very, very beginning, I thought about this idea, and I sort of was going to self-fund it. I mean, I'd sold my company and did quite well out of it. And I thought I'll take a chunk of money instead of giving it, because I wanted to make a donation to charity. And I first looked at, cancer or heart disease. Right. But then I realized that, hold on, if I give, say, a big amount of money to one of those groups, really what I'm doing is I'm just sort of like going after the end result. Like, I'm not going to the cause, which was like what we're eating and our lifestyle choices. So then I thought, well, what if I flipped around? Instead of making that donation, what if I did something that would help me and help others? So that was the original idea of where the money would come from. When I originally did the budget, which I had no idea what I was doing, and I got some friends in who were in the business, I realised that it was going to be probably a lot more than what I was thinking about. So I told a bunch of friends of mine and some really great mates and really people who I care about a lot, just came in and put in an amount of money each to them. I think at the end of the day, I funded roughly about 70% of the film, and about 30% came from friends that wanted to see it happen.
And how did the film talk about distribution? Once the film was all the way completed, did you already have distribution set up, or did you have to seek that?
I did self-distribution. I mean, I got lucky. Okay, I've got a belief, because I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I am, and it takes a while to work that out in life, but I kind of only worked that out like 10 years ago that I'm an entrepreneur. And really, to be, in my view, a successful entrepreneur, you've got to have 3 things, and then you've got to get 1 thing that's outside of your control. So 3 things in your control and 1 thing that's out. So let's look at the 3 things in your control. Number 1, you've got to take risk. Okay, you've either got to put your own money down or quit your job and go out and really take a risk. So you've got to have a high ability to handle risk. Number 2 is you've got to make sacrifice. You've got to really put other things aside to be totally committed to what it is that you're trying to build. And number 3, you've got to be passionate about that, which makes number 2 easier. So the more passion you have, the easier it is to sacrifice. So those 3 things certainly played into the business model of this film and how I then ended up into distribution. And then the 4th thing you need is luck. That's kind of outside your control. And so what I did is I got very lucky with this, because YouTube only started in 2005, and we kind of forget that. 2005. I started shooting the film in 2007. Facebook really only started getting going in 2008. So if I'd made this film, say, 5 years earlier, I would have been stuck in that old world of needing a distributor, having to go down that path. When I went to see 20th Century Fox and Universal and Sony Pictures, you know what they said to me? They said, love the movie, can you give us the green juice recipe, but you're not Hugh Jackman or Russell Crowe, and we don't know how to market this film. So their attitude is that unless it's like what they've done before, they don't know how to market it. They need a cookie cutter approach to take the film and say, well, we've done this and we can do the numbers and crunch that, and this is how it'll work. So I was left with this self-distribution model where now I own my content 100%. So I can do what I like with it. I mean, I can put it up on YouTube tomorrow for free. We sell the DVDs from our website. And, I've done some television deals, I've done Netflix, I've done Hulu, Apple, and now there's this ability for the entrepreneur, whether it's filmmaking or whatever, to actually go out and reach the audience and cultivate the audience. So what we did is a thing called self-distribution, and it's kind of actually called what's the word that they're using for it now, which is like semi-theatrical.
Yeah.
which is you book out theatres yourself, which I would do. I'd pay for a theatre, and therefore we got all the revenue that night. I'd go along and speak, and we did that around the country. And I showed the film in over 62 Whole Foods around America. I've shown the film in Australia in a similar sort of light. So it's, when I started off, it was me, my laptop, a green juice, and like 2 men and a dog would turn up in a Whole Foods store and watch it. And that was the very first beginning. And the last time I showed in a Whole Foods, I think we had like 450 people.
Right.
So it really has built up. And lady luck follows a person of action, right?
Absolutely. And first time making a feature film, 60-day juice fast. If you could just real quickly talk about the challenges of combining those two things. Because I know when I did the 14-day fast, I really needed to be in a clean, clear headspace and focus. And I started thinking about, a little bit of background in filmmaking. I was like, man, that's two giant things coming together.
Yeah, it was really tough. It was really tough. And, I think you can see in the movie that at the beginning I was quite nervous and didn't know what I was doing. And then I started to get comfortable in it as I went along. And so now I'm very comfortable in front of a camera. And now I'm like, let's do the cutaways. We know we need that for editing, continuity. I've learned it all. I'm a quick learner, right? I never did college or anything. I went straight into the workforce when I was 17. So I've always been someone that learns on the run and pick up. I'm not a big reader. I'm sort of more of a feel guy and just listening. My grandmother said, Joe, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. You should listen twice as much as you talk. And so by doing that, I pick up a lot. So it took a little while, but I then, like around sort of about day 15, I started getting really comfortable. But you're still trying to go up to people on the street and just talk to them and just randomly say, hey, excuse me, and then they just keep walking and you go, all right. Men in suits didn't want to have anything to do with me.
Right.
Women were very happy to talk about their health. Men, not so much keen to talk about their health. It's kind of like, oh no, I'll worry about that later.
And on that note, did you script any of the film, or were you just following an outline?
No, the original outline I had for the movie, which was to get 6 average Americans to do 10 days each. I would be like the sort of narrator guy that would do 60 days. Yeah. I'd come in and out, but it'd be mainly about them. And so when we actually got into the edit room and we looked at it, the story really was about me. It wasn't about them. And I'm like, I didn't make this movie to be about me, but we all made this decision that really that's where it had to go to keep the interest.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we made that film, and we're all really nearly set and done, on time, on budget, and then the Phil call came. And so all of a sudden now, to keep following Phil for the next 2 years, my investors had given me the money, so now my 70% share went to like 95% because I had to put a lot more capital in to keep the dream alive.
Yeah. And just real quick, we'll end on that. You mentioned Phil. Can you just tell us real quick? I know you get asked that a lot. How often you talk to him? How is he doing?
Yeah, Phil is going great. Phil is just this year decided to become a health coach. So I'm going to help him with that, the Integrative Institute of Nutrition. He's going to do that course. Phil is still living in Sheldon, Iowa. His spirits are great. He loves having the community on Facebook that he talks to. He's just a great guy. We would communicate, probably. It comes in spirit. Sometimes it's like at least every, say, month, and other times it can be like every couple of months. In the beginning, it was like a lot. It was like once every 2 weeks. And more recently, I've probably spoken to him maybe 3 or 4 times in the last, say, 3 months. Yeah. So it comes in stages. When Phil, sometimes we're talking about something we're thinking about doing, or giving him some discussion or update on what's going on.
Right.
So but he's really, I think, his attitude, his spirit, his idea, and his position now, where he finds himself as being this person where so many people look up to. He's very, very happy, and I think he's looking to really sort of now go to the next step now. Absolutely. From his own business point of view, which is exciting, and I'm going to try and help him do that.
Awesome. Pleasure,
hey,
sir.
Thanks so much. It's been great. I've enjoyed it.
So we just finished with Joe Cross, and he was jumping on a flight to go to New York, but we just wanted to take a second. We had made some fresh juice Brian made this morning, so we had a little bit, and we just wanted to do a quick toast to Joe Cross and thank him for all his time. It's truly inspiring, and this has been a great weekend for us. So Joe, here's to you, and we thank you very much.
Thank you very
Cheers.
much.
All right, cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers, guys.